All right, here we go. Welcome back. This is RBE Pete, aka Pete, or whatever the fuck you want to call me, with another Grand Texan League or Texas eSports podcast. And with me, I've got the well-known, the man from Texas eSports himself, Mr. Sarge. Welcome, my friend.
Thanks, man. Thanks for having me again.
Appreciate it. As always, it's good to have somebody that got to bounce these ideas back and forth with, because I tend to wear myself out with all the ideas that go on inside my head. I need a place to dump it, and this podcast is a really good way to kind of get that stuff out there. So how you been, man? What's new with you?
Doing well, man. Just been trying to get my Dota game back on track. That's about it. I'm in a slump the last week or so.
Yeah, I feel you. Yeah, I've actually started to work on a second account that I'm trying to run through and not do any, intentional training through the account, because unfortunately the first account that I had, I did a lot of helping people kind of develop a lot of their skill and really slowed down my own development, because I played through Dota 1 and I'm like, I can help these guys, sure. But coaching and playing at the same time is fucking not. I wouldn't recommend it if you're trying to be a player that wants to play competitively at some point. Eventually you're going to have to find some teammates, whatever. But anyway, you mentioned before we started this that, you had to close and final out your team, right?
Yeah, that I'm still waiting on some of these, I guess floaters who signed up and don't have a team to be assigned.
Yeah. Okay, so speaking of that, the folks who did email me that are looking for a team, there were a couple of folks that I did email and let them know, here's the contact information for the rest of your team. Get together with them and, make the introductions that you like. As a caveat to that, you don't have to play just for one team. You can play on multiple teams. We do need, as of last week, when I looked at the standings here, I'll go ahead and pull that up. I'll try to remove the personal contact info just so it's not online, so folks don't get upset with me. Well, that's not going to work. Their contact info is here. But just take my word for it. There's 34 entries from top to bottom. And we'll say that 60% of them are teams. So as of last week, we had 14 teams that were ready to go. And we had at least 5 or 6 players that were still looking to be formed into a team. I haven't forgotten you guys. I'm going to email all of you and let you know that, what the contact information for the remaining teams. And Sarge here just mentioned to me that he's looking to close out his roster so we can pick up those folks and you can put them in with your team. Or, you can even bring in, another set of 4 players, a total of 8, and you can be the captain for 2 teams if you like. I mean, I don't know if you have that type of time on your hands to be able to do that, but, other captains are more than welcome to do that, just as long as you're not playing on 2 different teams within the same division. And if you haven't read through the rules, there's only going to be 6 teams per division, and we're going to try to knock out, right there, you're going to try to knock out all the matches the first 2 weeks as a round robin, and then the last 2 weeks as the brackets, the elimination phase. So, that's not a lot of time to be able to complete those matches, but I think you guys can do it, because there was some, I know in the past, I know, Sarge, you may agree with me with this, for some folks who were getting a little, they were getting hot. There was a flame underneath their seat to try to get these games finalized. And, this is a good way to eliminate the folks that are serious about, Dota being competitive in a league, and those who are just kind of passing through. And, we as much as we want to accommodate the casual player, when you do participate in these leagues, you got to be aware that your captain's going to be communicating with you. And captains, we're going to leave it up to you guys. We're going to, if you don't hear back from somebody within, you just only try once per day. Don't fucking don't send them a bunch of mail that's going to start, infighting amongst each other. Don't spam people.
Just, red bastard, why haven't you text me back?
Yeah. I mean, just to send them one email. Just be like, hey, we haven't heard from you in a couple days. We don't know where you're at. We got a game coming up. This was the time frame that worked best for you. So, captains, you really got to communicate with your teams and try to get a couple of matches in that aren't necessarily part of the league, just so you guys can get a feel for one another. And don't be afraid to be a part of multiple teams here. See, there's a lot of benefit to being able to be in a league with this much flexibility, for you to be able to play in multiple teams, or to even have the same team that you're playing with and playing in multiple divisions, and being able to get as much exposure as you possibly can and getting to know the variations from the other teams. So I'm going to take a break from that and talk maybe a little bit about the meta that has been out there. Have you been seeing a lot of Slark as much as I have with the folks with all the pub matches that maybe
No,
you've squeezed in?
I haven't actually. I just played a Slark this last match before we did this. He raped us, but before that, Slark's been kind of non-existent in the games I've played.
Ah,
To be
interesting.
completely honest, I've been seeing a lot of Void lately. I
Ah,
don't know why. He just came back out of nowhere, but
have
there's
you
a lot
doing
of
like an all pick
Voids.
or just captain's mode?
No, we're doing it. I play all pick mostly,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
um, so there's no you know kicking people out, denying people access to certain players. It's just who they want to play with. That's what I've noticed. Seen a lot of that, and also Bloodseeker has kind of made a recent resurgence in the last week, and maybe it's just the games I'm playing, but it's pretty consistent. Don't know why. Maybe it's just some oddballs picking who they want to play with. Who knows?
Right, right. There's been what I've noticed is that Slark's been seeing a lot of banner, and I've noticed that Leshrac has been coming up as a good counter to Slark. A lot of people like that AoE stun capability. A lot of folks like to be able to burst him down if he is an issue. But I don't want to get too much into that because the meta is normally a touchy subject with a lot of these teams because they get really, really confident and solidified in one particular path or maybe a varying, based on their top three picks that they like to use and try to just make it work the best way that you can. Sometimes that works to the benefit of the team. But to be honest, in my experience of what I've seen, the teams that work together and the teams that are open to a predetermined plan
Yeah.
from the beginning and are flexible enough to make adjustments mid-game that they weren't anticipating are the teams that are more than likely to be the most successful. So you just got to be flexible, man. There's raging never got any of these pros to where they're at today. I promise you that.
No, and the one thing I've noticed lately too is that the comebacks are less. Maybe that whole algorithm has been removed, but I don't see teams coming back like they used to. So if you get that early lead, if you can go up 3, 4, 5 kills very early and just kind of dictate the pace and take that advantage and push with it, what I've seen recently, it usually results in the team being the winners, as opposed to pre-patch when you never knew. You could be up by 10 kills and this one little team fight swings it for the rest of the game. So who
Yeah,
knows, man?
indeed. So with the upcoming pairings, we're gonna have, at least with what information that I have, I'll have the pairings ready to go, and I want to get another podcast this coming Sunday. Post the pairings on Sunday, and the games can start going Monday if folks are ready to
Okay.
go. I've got another forum that's within the rules for all you folks. It's the rules. You can find them within the Facebook groups. I've posted it all there. You go into the rules, and here I'll just go in there and show you guys where it's at. So if you go into Facebook, ignore all of this stuff that you see here. Captain Planet stuff. Yeah, that's not where we're at. So, okay, at the Austin Facebook group, you scroll down here, go to the rules and match breakdown. Within this document, you just scroll down after it's finished loading. When you have communicated with the other captain when you're going to play, this is how you let us know when you're scheduling the game so we can bring someone in to be able to... Oh, and there's Lee right there enjoying his gnome. So this is where you can let the admins know when you're scheduling a match. We're not going to be at every single match in order to proctor or to be, a referee. Get the game scheduled, get them played, report your I should probably create another document for that too, reporting what your win-loss ratio was. Or you
Yeah.
can post it in the Facebook group. Either way. And so I'll go ahead and do that. That's something that I can do. I can create a document for reporting your winnings. And so the winning team goes in, reports it to one of the admins, and lets us know. We'll share the information with each other. I've got another document that I've created. But go to the ready to schedule a match and just click on this. And here, all you got to put in is your team name, the opponent's team name, and the time that you've confirmed that you guys want to play. So captains, this is going to be on you guys to be able to confirm when you've talked to the other captain and figured out when you want to play the match. And maybe I think I'm going to add in another entry here for what week or which game it is. I guess it won't matter as long as we've got a date for when you're planning to play. That way we've got a confirmed date from the captains. If you've got any disputes about this, if you're like, oh, one of the other captains scheduled the day for us and we didn't agree to it or whatever, you gotta let me know. This is why it's really important for you folks, because we're going to take this information, and Sarge, if you're up for it, I can pass it over to you if you want to find a spot to put it on the website so folks can look at the schedule.
Absolutely.
And see matches that they want to play. So Troll, this is going to fire it up. I got a question coming from Twitch. This is going to be fired off on this coming Sunday. We're going to post the pairings for the round robin phase, which is only going to be 2 weeks, and you're going to have to get in 2 matches within those 2 weeks, which is, I think, a reasonable amount of time to get those 2 matches done. So, and I'm going to post the pairings for both games within those first 2 weeks for the 6 teams. You're going to play 2 teams. When that's going to determine whether or not you're put in the the winning bracket or the losers bracket. And that way, the losers bracket, it's single elimination. If you make it to the winner's bracket, it's going to be double elimination. You just move down to the loser's bracket, and then you're out if you lose again from there. And then the winning teams, Oh, and again, if you're from Erupting Burning Finger, anybody who's listening to this now, and you didn't come see me, please do so. I've got prizes for you guys that you still haven't collected from the Grand Texan League. Get in touch with me, guys. I got some goodies that I want to give you guys, a Legendary Courier and some other, hero sets that I want to pass out. So please get in touch with me. Anyway, so moving on, that form, we'll be using that to help schedule the matches for all of you guys. Again, I'll go through and post all of this stuff again in all the Facebook groups, so all the teams can have a heads up on it. Looking at the document itself, I've got 34 entries, which is pretty remarkable. 34. A lot of it, there were a couple entries that were coming in as spam where it just said hello, 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 and all the entries. I was like, that's cute. That's fucking adorable. Thanks, guys. I appreciate the good words. But and so you'll take the prizes, right? Okay, yeah. I'll just give them all to you, and then we'll see if you can hand them out. No, so I did give a set to the captain from Erupting Burning Fingers, so he's no longer eligible. Sorry, buddy. But I would love to give him all of the stuff, but unfortunately, when you gift things through the game, you can only gift it once, which is slightly annoying. And it's just, I've spent so much money buying treasures and shit like that I'm not in need of any of that stuff anymore. I just, I know other folks enjoy it, and I'm like, what the hell? Why not? I just pass that out as prizes. I don't know, Sarge, if you've got any armor stuff that you're not using, if you'd like to, when the time comes, not right now, but whenever you feel up for it.
I do have a cool item. I've discussed with you what it was. For those of you who play Hero Clicks, they came out with a Dota set of 6 different characters, and in it is a Tidehunter Blink Dagger that he actually carries.
Oh, yeah.
It can only be retrieved through this little box set, so it's super rare. And I haven't scratched off the number or anything like that, so I'm going to donate that to the team who wins, and they can fight over it from there.
All right, you guys heard it. He's got some. I would say that's pretty fucking awesome, because it's pretty cool. The Hero Click stuff is actually can be used within that tabletop game, right?
Yep. Yeah.
That's awesome. So somebody's asking a question. Yeah, it is best of 2 for the round robin weeks, and for the elimination phase, it's still only going to be best of 2. No, take that back. It's going to have to be a best of 3 for the elimination phase. And then for the actual final match, it's going to be a best of 5. So but when it comes down to the finals, it's going to be, if it gets that far. I got a feeling these guys are going to get into their groove, and they're just going to do a sweep. And We'll see how it goes. Maybe if we have the time to be able to do that, I'm going to create events for the final matches only. So you guys are going to have to pay close attention to the schedules if you want to be able to watch what your other, what the other teams that you may play against are going to be playing like. So if you are a captain and you want to analyze and you want to, prepare yourself, I am going to record highlights for as many games as I can attend as possible. I'm not going to be there for all of them. Sarge is not going to be there for all of them. The other admins are not going to be available to all of them. Just get with the captain and schedule it, and then get to that link that I shared earlier. That's within the rules to let us know when you guys have scheduled a match, and I'll have all that information. I'll pass it over to Sarge. He'll put it on the Texas eSports website, and we'll try to get some highlights and things posted over there so you guys can keep an eye on what the other teams are doing, because not only are we just looking at this in a way of just competing with one another, we're trying to really build individual skill. So come to us if you want your team to be critiqued and you want one of the admins to kind of sit back and coach one of your matches in the game and say, hey, take a look at what we're doing as a team. Like what can we do as a team to kind of improve overall how we're communicating or how we're behaving or whatever. We're all here to do that. I'm offering that up to anybody who's interested in really making that solid connection with a team, because Abson said it before, a couple of weeks back, that he was more than happy to pay for the entry for a team to play in 82L or, to play in one of the other bigger leagues, because we're really trying to find a solid set of 5 that can hopefully one day compete for the international. And I think that's, if we're not dreaming big enough, if we're not dreaming so fucking big where it's like out of this world, then why fucking dream at all, to be honest? So it's aim high. Even if it seems unreachable, we're going to nail somewheres below that target. If we don't get a team to the international, maybe we might get them to one of the other competitions or at the next X Games or something like that. But we're trying to make a name for a lot of the players coming out of Texas, and I think this is a way to do it. And not to say that we're not trying to make a name for folks who are playing from outside of Texas. I really appreciate the folks who are playing from outside of Texas. You're helping get this fired up, get the momentum rolling for Texas esports in general. So I really appreciate you folks as well. So Sarge, did you follow any of the Join Dota Red activity come out of the X Games?
No, man. My weekend was so jam-packed with homework and everything else.
Yeah.
I did not.
Oh, no, don't feel bad. I didn't pay too close attention to it either. I got a little bummed out because I couldn't go. I've got some family in town. It just, the timing wasn't good for me. I wanted to go in there, made that flyer to get in there, and I'm like, I want to show up, but unfortunately just it would have taken up a whole day that I just couldn't spare.
Happens,
having wife and kids, they win.
Take priority,
yeah, they do. They win. And which with no remorse whatsoever. I don't feel bad about it. I'm very fortunate.
Sure.
I have an awesome family.
I do have one question. Someone, and I don't remember who it was, did ask me, I want to say last week, about, so we have 6-man rosters with 1 reserve. If a team shows up and they only have 4, being that we have a 6-man, the job is for them to fill in when someone else can't, but you can only wield 4. Do we allow them to find a sit-in, or are we just going to say your team just can't play because you already have 6 players? And the reason I ask that is because we just don't want people pulling, too many outsiders. Let's say you have a weak link and you really got to win this game or a championship game, and
right,
you get this person to sit out, and you get your buddy who's 5,000 MMR.
Yeah.
So I want to know what's your thoughts on that, because I'm open to either way. I just didn't know how to answer it.
Yeah, well, I think stand-ins would be awesome. At any time. Anytime you need a stand-in. I would prefer that the stand-in at least register as a single player, so we can one day either add them to a team or at least keep an eye on that individual's performance, because that might be another player that want to be a part of a team, or other team members want to approach them and say, hey, come play at ours. So, as long as they register and we have their contact information beforehand as a stand-in, that's perfectly fine. It's a real simple thing to register. I'll be looking at it if I've got access to all this stuff on my mobile phone, and I have Steam on my phone as well.
Right.
So just let any of the admins know if you want to put a stand-in on your team. If you have 4 players, you need to add a 5th. That's perfectly fine. The only thing where I think it's going to be tricky is in the final matches, and having a stand-in there is not going to be allowed in the beginning. We may change that later on. But as of right now, in the final matches, we really want to bring in that original roster, unless of some, unless there's like this like a life emergency or event where they just can't make it because somebody got attacked by a shark or something.
Yeah, right.
Where they can't make it because they physically can't be there for whatever reason. And that's not a big deal to me. We're all human, man. If people approach us and they're like, "Hey, man, we've got a guy. We got into a fight, and he's saying he's not going to show up. Can we get a stand-in?" So it's going to be case by case, to be honest. Okay. I think we want to make it fair to these guys. They're really they're working hard at being gamers, working hard at being gamers, and wanted to be hopefully one day successful at this and make it a livable career. And I think esports is going to offer that to folks more and more as this continues to grow. Just watching what the X Games did here in Austin, Texas. I mean, you can't ignore the amount of attention that esports is getting. It's, there's documentaries out there if you look for them. I mean, there was just a couple that I shared on Facebook the other day that were looking at kind of an outsider's perspective on the world of esports, with League of Legends and Dota being at the top of the discussion. And I don't know if you guys haven't noticed what the prize pool is now for the international.
Oh, it's like 11 plus million,
yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
They broke the record already, and we still have
They're already past it.
Good, because my opinion means that I get more.
Goodies. Yeah, more immortals.
There we go. Yep. I'm level 200 right now. I need to keep pushing.
More immortals, here we come. Yeah, I'm just going to scroll down here. Let's see where we're at. Where are the prizes? No.
Oh, wow. Somebody just posted that it's now 12.9.
It's 12.9 million for the international. And I mean...
Must have been payday today.
And it just continues to keep going up. 12 million, almost 13 million. I got a feeling it might get close to 15 by the time this is all finished. It's going to slow down a little bit as it gets closer.
Unless they add something really cool that a lot of people are just going to want to push to get.
Yeah, indeed. Indeed. So, all right. So I've got nothing left regarding the league. I want to wish everybody good luck. If you know any other players that want to get involved, send them the link to register and get me their information. I'll follow up and create another document where folks can report their matches. And I'll make it really simple, just a couple of questions, what the team names are, and then what your score was for the round robin phase. We'll keep close eye. We may not be to all the games. We may not even be there for all the elimination phase, but there will definitely be an admin at the finals. So don't feel bad if an admin isn't there or if a commentator's not there to get your games. We will try to squeeze in commentators as often as we can. We don't have many. If you're interested in being a commentator, reach out to me. Send me, and maybe I can make another forum where it's folks just interested in being commentators and want to get some experience doing that.
If you're on the fence about it and you're not sure, we'll need you if you have the time and you want to donate it, because, like I said, we've made a YouTube channel for Texas eSports. And on the webpage itself, texasesports.com, we want to start posting these videos from YouTube, so people, maybe if they stumble across a flyer or whatever the case is, they want to see what we're about. They actually see that we're doing things and we're not just a wannabe site, that we're active and we have stuff and there's real teams and real things going on. So Pete can't be everywhere. So yeah, if you have the time,
I wish I could be.
Let's do it.
I really wish I could, man. A lot of the highlights are getting a lot of attention. They were a really big tool for the Grand Texan League. That was something that they wanted to expand upon with interviews and such, and we really want to bring that to the forefront for Texas eSports and allow these captains to look back and maybe even after their match, take 15 or 20 minutes to do a podcast with us and talk about what the hell happened in the game. I can have the recordings up that quick, which is for it. I've got the internet connection for it. I can get that shit on YouTube really fast so we can all review it. Anyway, I'm going to close this out. I've got nothing left. Sarge, any last comments to all the captains out there before they get going?
Get your submissions in before the deadline, and let's make this first season a great one.
Yeah. So Friday is going to be it. We're closing it down, and we're probably going to have maybe 4 divisions right away. That's excellent. 6 teams per division. Think about that, guys. And you can play in multiple divisions if we want to create a 5th. So that's a lot of matches to try to squeeze in a 4-week window, but I think you guys can do it. And I think you guys can make a show of it. And, as this continues to pick up momentum, we'll reach out to Valve and hopefully we'll have a ticketed event that will be able to, get some folks that'll purchase tickets and maybe get some prize money out there for next season. And just to let you guys know, as this picks up pace and we open up a division that has a cash entry in it, 100% of that money is going to go to prize pool. So just keep a heads up on that. You guys do have a chance of earning some money later on as these seasons progress. But, we need more population involved. We need more players that want to play. So if you know some players that are interested and work or coworkers or schoolmates or whatever it might be, family members, if they're interested in playing, come show them. Introduce them to Texas eSports, and this is where we're going to get these gamers to really focus in on their skill and help them develop that as best as they possibly can, and hopefully we'll give them those resources to do so. So anyway, Sarge, thanks so much for hanging out with me last minute. I really appreciate it, man.
No problem.
And thanks for taking care of the website. It really means a lot. And to all you folks out there, thanks again for hanging out with me, and we're going to sign this off. Peace out, y'all.